This is Jim Williams with the Hurricane City Tropical Update video for July 6th, 9:30 a.m. Well, back in 1916, we had a tropical depression form in late June, moved north-northwest, clipped the Yucatan Peninsula on July 4th, and then on this date back in 1916, it made landfall near Biloxi and Gulfport, Mississippi, with wind gusts up to 125 miles an hour. Now, a lot of people were not aware that it was going to be this strong. They got in their automobiles and tried to escape, and the wind was so strong it picked up their cars and flung their automobiles, and 10 people died inside their cars while trying to escape this hurricane. And this would also be a worst-case scenario for the oil spill if we were to have a track like this. South to north, it would shove all the oil on shore, and the wave action out in front of it would set up the oil pushing on shore, and then the hurricane itself would just sling it on shore. Not to mention the wind damage it would do. Excuse me. Now here's 2005 Hurricane Dennis track. A couple days from now, Dennis would form in the southeastern Caribbean Sea, cross over Cuba, and head toward the Florida Panhandle as a major hurricane. And this kind of track would not be as bad as the 1916 track, but nevertheless it would still push a lot of oil on shore, but it would spare the state of Florida most of the bad oil, and most of the oil would come in Alabama and Mississippi. But they were ahead. We are up to the D storm in 2005. We've only had one named storm this year so far, so we'll see if we can catch up over the next several days. Let's take a look at a water vapor loop and see what's going on out there. Do we have any systems to be concerned about? Well, the only one that really stands out is Invest 96L down here, right near the Yucatan Peninsula, about to move on shore. And this is in a somewhat of a favorable environment. We have northwest wind shear behind it, and we have an upper level low out in front of it, so it's got a small window here of opportunity once it reemerges out into the Gulf. There might be some dry air intrusion, and the models are really not showing very much development at all. In fact, the H-Wharf is the only one that really turns this into a tropical storm heading into Texas. But it looks like it's unfavorable. Now we have unfavorable conditions out in the Atlantic. Look at all the upper lows out here. These are all causing wind shear out of the west and west-southwest. That's why the smiley faces are on the map. There's just no chance of development. The only window is right here in the Caribbean Sea, probably right in between this area right here is the only favorable area. So we'll watch 96L, but it's not looking like it's going to be real favorable out in front of this system at all. Invest 95L went into the scrap heap yesterday. Now, Invest 95L came ashore right near Louisiana last night, and they started out with a 0% chance of development for that system. And then forecasters Stewart and Cangelosi came in, and for the evening shift at the Hurricane Center, they upped it to 60% as it came on shore, and they had a special disturbance statement. But the winds I could find out there in the buoys, nothing was over 25 miles an hour, so I think they made the right call in not classifying this as a tropical depression or a tropical storm. But it is now inland, nothing to worry about. So 95L down in the scrap heap here. And the way this works is 90L will be the new storm, the new Invest after we go through 96, 97, 98, and 99. And then 99, of course, will be the last one into the pile, and then we start over again. And there's more Invest in the scrap heap than there are ones that actually develop in the Atlantic Basin. Here's the position of Invest 96L. Yesterday I thought it was too far north. They adjusted it southwest last night, and that is where the current estimate of where the center of circulation is on this system. Again, the wind shear from the University of Wisconsin, northwest winds out here behind it. There's a little bit of a high pressure trying to build over the top of it, but not real prime conditions for development. And again, upper level lows out here unfavorable all through the Atlantic Basin. Here's the inflow. These are the converging air at the surface, and you notice right near where 96L is, we have good convergence out here, so the air is all trying to force its way towards what would be a center of 96L. And then if you go to the divergence where the air is in the upper levels where it's spreading out, the air is spreading out right over the top of 96L. So it does have somewhat favorable conditions, even though there's a little bit of northwest wind shear behind it. It's moving away from the wind shear. Here is the tendency from the University of Wisconsin. The white areas are increasing wind shear, so it's increasing. But again, our system is moving into decreasing areas of wind shear, at least in the long run down here toward the Gulf of Mexico. Now, this is what I like to focus on when you're trying to figure out where a storm is going to go, is the pressure fields. And let's draw a line right here. Anything on this side of this line is high pressure. So it's not going to go on the other side of this line. It's going to be forced to go this general direction and parallel this line because the pressures are the lowest over here. Look at these pressures in Texas are very low down here. And of course they're low up where 95L made landfall, but high pressure should soon replace this. So the most likely scenario is a high pressure is going to build somewhere in the south here and shove this towards the direction of Texas, is what most of the model thinking is right now. So pay attention to pressures. That has a lot to do with where the future of where a storm is going to go, and that's from sailweather.info. And here are the models basically paralleling that line I just drew right towards Texas, anywhere from South Texas to Cameron, Louisiana. So we're going to be watching to see if there's a shift in the models over the next few days. Again, Tiny from the message board is out in the spill, Deepwater Horizon spill area, and these are pictures he sent me of them continuing to burn the oil at the surface out here. But this is the Olympic Challenger, the ship that's actually working with the ROVs down there and taking video and working on all the cutting pipes and working to get everything adjusted. He tells me that they're about ready to tap into that relief well, and they just have to get everything working at the bottom and get everything set up before they can do that, and that's going to take a little while. Here's the position of all the ships that are working out there. Look at them all. There's probably about 20 or so ships out here working on the spill site. And some of these are relief, some of these are cleanup, skimmers. Some of them are working to suck the oil out of the hole and store it. So there's a lot of work being. People are working hard out there. There's no doubt about that, trying to stop this. All right, well that's about it for now. Now we have the oil cams up on HurricaneCity.tv. There they are. And we go full screen every now and then so you can see what's going on with the cams. And there it is. It's still blowing out of that hole out there. That's streaming 24 hours a day on HurricaneCity.tv. And I'll be back again with another update tomorrow on the situation with 96L. Thank you again for visiting Hurricane City.